Living off a prison brother bitten in his cell. Hey. Confine us all to the ghetto, say we're living right in hell. Hey. Underfunded schools, underfed, underprivileged. Hey. But we the same dirty little niggas that to build the pyramids. Hey. Crying on your face when you see my hat cocked sideways. Hey. Working 9 to 5, full of job, but we can't get a raise. Hey. Minimum wage ain't enough to satisfy a king. Hey. I'm kind, Mansa Musa back in Mali wearing bling bling. Hey. Politicians never listen, all they do is wanna talk. Hey. Shut your face, pick a place in the hood, take a walk. Hey. Crucify me for my big lips, shit, God give me those. Hey. Going through the cracks in the concrete, I'm a black bra. Hey. Get some loving from a black woman, you would never go back. Hey. Old black woman looking like a teen, black don't crack. Hey. Sitting on the banks of the Nile, writing hieroglyphic rhymes. Spirits in the wind, talking to your hair, I'm in the wind. I said, black man, be strong, cause you've been down so long, gotta shine your light. A black woman's love is a glory to all, gotta shine your light. This light of mine, this light of mine, this light of mine. This light of mine. Feeling like a Marcus Garvey back in Harlem on the stage. Rep the colors red, black and green, yeah, let my flag raise. Feeling like a panther talking to the pigs for my black rage. Revolutionary picture, brother Malcolm with a 12 gauge. Child of the sun, living on the run, hand on the gun, tired of being shunned. Look at where I'm from, victim of the world, look at what it done. Left me for dead, left me with plagues. Took away my bread, hear voices in my head. I say, hola do my red. Take away my pain, a whole batala. Take away these chains, oh yeah me ya. Please do the same, oh Shum Shango. Bring the thunder and rain, hola do my red. Take away my pain, no batala. Take away these chains, oh yeah me ya. Please do the same, oh Shum Shango. Bring the thunder and rain. I say, black man, be strong, cause you've been down so long, gotta shine your light. A black woman's love is a glory to all, gotta shine your light. This light of mine, this light of mine, this light of mine. This light of mine.
All right. We're gonna learn today. Okay. Welcome to what episode is this? Episode 10 and a half? Is it 10 and a half? 11? Part 2? All right. Episode 10 and a half. Part 2 of 10. The brother not just gonna lie. We here with the greatest, her greatest greatness in the building. Self Me Self podcast, attacking the stigma associated with mental health in the black community. So we got the one, the only, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and show your love for Chanel Johnson.
Good evening. Good evening. I do apologize for not being here last week. I was sick with COVID and did not have enough air to actually do an episode, but I'm back. I'm here, and we're going to continue on this healing journey, talking about healing in motion. And again, my disclaimer, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a social worker. I'm not a clinician. I'm not a therapist, not a psychologist. I'm coming to you from a peer and support perspective, not a clinical one. And I hope that you're having an amazing evening.
Bam. How you feeling today? You good now? You good? You good? You good?
I'm good.
Well, you was in our thoughts and our prayers. They missed you, but they're happy you're here today. Okay? So we don't care about no last week. All right. So we here in righteously ratchet healing and such. So tell us why we're here today, ma'am.
We're here to continue speaking about what it looks like to live an everyday life and heal. And it would be amazing if we can go to Bali or, some resort or have some exotic experience to just heal in peace. But that's not our reality. We have to work. We have children. We have school. We have jobs. We have family members. Life is lifing for us. So, we're here to continue the conversation on how to heal without sitting still, how to heal and still handle everything else. Is it more difficult? Yes. Can it be done? Yes. And that's the most important part, because the time is going to pass whether you do something about it or not. So let's work more into figuring out ways to carve out those moments for ourselves, our self-care, and our healing.
Bam. So are we starting with the men or are we starting with the women?
Your choice. Host choice.
You the host. I'm the janitor. Okay.
It doesn't matter. I'm open to whatever.
Let's ask the audience that's listening. 1 for the men, 2 for the women. Let's see what they say.
Peace, Jody. Jody's a faithful.
Yes.
Good evening, AC with Ursula.
Sort of conversations with Ursula up in here. Okay. Yep. So she said, let's start with them ratchet ass. Oh, excuse me. Pardon my language. Let's start with them raggedy ass. Oh, let's start with the men. Okay. One roll for the men. Anybody else? I don't want to leave y'all out to be like, oh, I'm saying I wanted to start with the women, see? So that's changed. All right. We starting with the men. All right. All right. This first clip is brought to you courtesy of the incels, the retards, and the red pills. I said I was going to behave. All right. Let's go.
Are really the problem, then why don't y'all just leave us alone?
On me hard, man. While I'm fucked up, while I'm at my lowest, like straight fucked up, broke, nigga ain't got nobody to run to, and I got her, and she right there helping me, making sure I eat, making sure I got clothes, making sure I got shoes, making sure I got money in my pocket. Just looking out for a nigga, man, caring for a nigga while you fucked up, man. When I turn up, soon as I turn up, I'm talking about get right, it's by law that I walk out her life, because why you fucking with a broke nigga? I can't fuck with no female fuck with a broke nigga. It's like, where your pride and your dignity is. Like, did your mama or daddy teach you anything? Like, you don't do no shit like that. And then it'll be selfish for me to even continue to fuck with her, because I can be taken away from a nigga that need her, because I'm not gonna need her no more. So I could be fucking some other shit up.
Good Lord.
There's a lot to unpack there. a lot. But he speaks to something that a lot of women are confused about, because we're told to be the ride or die, to be there. We're told that we're gold diggers if we want a man that's already established. We're also told that if we get with a man that's not established and it goes left, that's our fault because we should have chose better. But at the same time, we're told that we're too picky and we don't want to help a man that's not already there. We don't want to help him get there. We don't want to be part of that process. We just want to get with him when he's on. And again, in each situation, it's like, if it's positive, then, it's them. But if it's negative, then it's us. And it comes to a point where it's like, so you literally look at women as a commodity of help, but you don't want to go long with her. You just want a good time, not a long time. And honestly, I'm going to keep it a buck. He looks like he's been through quite a few of those situations. And it may be why he cannot stay on his own and actually stay up, because you're coming into this all wrong. You don't get to use people like that. And the key words he was saying was caring for me. loving on me, supporting me, all things that you would think that a man would want and would appreciate at the end when he gets there because of the support that you gave him. But to turn around and give that to someone else and devalue her by saying, because she dealt with you at your lowest, that she's not worthy of being there at your highest. But then you'll still have conversations that will say a woman's never there for you at the beginning, but she wants to be there at the end. And it's like, okay, from men, help women understand how that balances out. How does that show up? How do you navigate that? How do you know when that person is being genuine or just using you? Because once you get used, it's your fault. You should have chose better. Well, you should have seen it. Well, you knew what he was when you got with him. But if he becomes successful and then leaves you, there's nothing for that. No one is saying, you left a good woman. She was there for you. It's, oh no, he has options now. So now that your pool changed, now your loyalty has changed. And a man that can't be by himself won't be. So if you find yourself in a situation like this with the man that always needs someone, then he's always going to be with someone, even whether it's you or not. It may be you and them and you and 5 other people. But he's a very dangerous person because I'm sure that he's not being honest and saying to women, I'm just using you. Who's going to say that? No, he's going to love bomb her. He's going to tell her all the things she wants to hear to get what he wants to the point that he doesn't. And then he's going to say, well, I never told you that. Well, I never committed to that. I never told you what I was going to do. We were just friends. You're making it out to be more than what it is. And he's just going to go on to the next. He doesn't look successful at this point. So all he did was just probably left the woman that got fed up with him to go be with another woman that's willing to put up with him.
Well, I tell you, it ain't enough room on the trees sometime. It ain't enough room in the volcanoes. It ain't enough room in the vat of acid for some of this stuff sometimes.
But I will say, I'm not absolving women of this either, because we will get with a man that we know we don't have genuine interest in, but he has an asset that we want, whether it's a place to stay, a car to use to get to work, somebody that's gonna pick our kids up, somebody that's gonna help pay that rent. I only got to be with you for a day or 2 out the month, and it's worth all the benefits that come with it. But we know that this person is really into us. This person has genuine interest and is willing to invest and put time and effort and finance behind us to help us achieve our goals. And we know from the gate that's not what we want, but we will use that person to get where we want. And then once we get there, we will create scenarios to where it's like, well, again, I didn't make those promises. But the whole time that we're together, you're doing all the things that make it look like you're on board with what this person is thinking, because you know what they want. Because they're telling you. And you're not saying, no, I just need you for a couple of months. You're not saying that. You're totally on board with it until you don't want it. This is not even really a gender thing. This is a human thing. This is a flawed characteristic that humans have. This is beyond just survival. This is actually selfish and very greedy.
Miss Chanel being righteous about it, okay? I'm gonna step right back into the face with this size 12 Timberland and put it on this dude's forehead until his skull crush. Because I have children. I have sons and daughters. I wish for any other instance ever in life that this would be the discussion that I would have with my children in regards to who they choose to be with in life and the sort of young man or young woman that they're growing into. No way. So I finally got it after I listened to it, right? With the dude with the clown face. He's talking about this talking point, right? Versus him co-signing this and saying this is okay. So he's exposing it for what it is versus what it appears to be. So he has the clown face demeanor, like this is what these clowns are talking about. And now, how hard does that make? Because there's no difference between, one or the next. It's a perpetual cycle. See, this is why I say y'all N words ain't ish. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so automatically it goes to that, and this becomes the thing that becomes a social divide. And these kinds of things get the bulk and majority of the attention, right? So this happens over here and this happens over here. It's like it's a human thing, you know, not a gender thing. But they have the gender wars where we look at each other in this kind of way versus in a righteous sort of manner, right? So there are dudes like this that exist, and dudes like this that exist, uh, they feel vindicated when they see visuals like this of somebody who should have been rubbed out. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of inserted. You understand? And so it's like these are the kinds of mentalities that are associated with uh, young black men in particular, because he's not an older guy, but there's some old fools out here too. He's a younger guy who lacked guidance, who lacked an example of what right looks like in regards to coming up as a young man. So if you look at women as conquest, you're never going to take the accountability. He said, "Oh, she ain't had no business with me in the first place," and he looking for the next one. So he's a predator, and he's a victimizer. And there are things that are supposed to happen to the predators and the victimizers that move amongst us because they erode trust. They erode trust internally and externally. So I'm localizing that with this male because this is a defect. This is a defect that needs to be spoken to directly and not tiptoed around. Directly, this is a defect. And if it's not addressed properly and eradicated, you'll start to see certain aspects and actions being taken to eradicate that physically. So there's a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual reformation that needs to happen from one generation to the next in regards to black males going into black manhood. That needs to take place. Otherwise, we are doomed to be dealing with these cycles that destroy black families, that destroy uh, the trust and the actual concern in regards to black male and female relationships, whether they're platonic or intimate. So all of these things become talking points and content to be pushed out and around. And the more toxic it is, the more attention that it garners. So now you wanting attention, this becomes a preset on how you even seek to pretend to be yourself or articulate yourself in this manner as well.
Yeah, I say, if a man can't take care of himself, he can't take care of you.
Mm.
If a man's not willing to get up and go to work, and he is able-bodied to do so, but he
Mm.
is to take from you, your children, your family, your responsibilities, and allow you to do that, run, run. If you're in a relationship and your man falls upon hard times, absolutely step up. Things happen, but make sure that that's a relationship, not a situationship, not
Mm.
not where you know you're doing all the sacrificing, not where he's just loafing on the couch. Encourage him, speak life into him, but be very mindful of situations like this because he is normal. There's a lot of hymns out there. So if you
Mhm.
come across something like that, yeah, you're gonna he's gonna love every bit of that support. All that all that stuff that he was talking, he's gratifying her for doing that. He's literally telling her how amazing she is for that and how she's being there for him, to only turn around and say she shouldn't be with me. And it's really sad because he's really deflecting, his own reflection. He really is speaking to himself because he knows that he's not worthy of the woman that is actually supporting him, because he knows he has no plans on doing anything with that. He's going to continue to go from woman to woman. He has no desire to stand on his own feet. So what he's doing is making himself feel vindicated for what he's doing by saying, well, she doesn't, she don't deserve to have me better. But when's your better ever going to come? Or do you really feel like you don't have it in you to be better?
I got other words to say, but I'm not. So let's go to the other side of things, okay? And see what a black man has to say. We heard what a black male has to say. Let's see what a black man has to say. That ain't me. You understand what I'm saying? That ain't me. Let's see.
Jerry Whitfield. I'm a proud black man, and I'm reporting for duty. It was recently brought to my attention, some dude obviously looking for attention, so I won't mention his name, but I will mention his tactic. And the tactic was to mention a comment that I made during a post of Funky Dineva when he said that black men are the cancer of the black community. The comment that I dropped was that I agree and reporting for duty. If you've been following me for more than 5 minutes, you understand that I do what black men are supposed to do. I've been with the same black woman for 28 years. We have raised 2 awesome black children to become young black adults. I am not only a father to my biological children, but I am a bonus father to any child that I come across that I see is at a deficit. I wrote a book called Male versus Man, where I talk about the difference between being a male and being a man. The premise behind the book is that males look to be served while men look to be of service. The problem in society, particularly within our community, is that the black males look like the black men by virtue of the fact that we have the same structure, we have the same body parts. In my last video, I talked about how black males move from the motivation of their penis, while black men move from the motivation of their purpose. Biologically, we are the same, but our functionality is completely different. So when I said I agree and I'm reporting for duty, I did what men are supposed to do. We're supposed to take responsibility, even for things that we haven't broken. Males, on the other hand, just point fingers. They're very much like boys who haven't quite grown up mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. While their bodies have grown, they're still stuck in the mental capacity of boys. They're still stuck in the emotional capacity of boys. They're still stuck in the spiritual capacity of boys. I made a post a couple of days ago talking about black men. What are we doing? And why did I say that? I wasn't attacking black men for creating situations that we see play out every single day on social media. It was a rally cry to my brothers, to my fellow men in our community that I know would take responsibility for things that they haven't even broken, but we take responsibility to fix them. What Funky Dineva was talking about was that black men have to fix this and black women can't. He was absolutely right. I'm going to tell you something else. One of the reasons why some of our black males are showing up the way that they're showing up is because many of us are not even permitted to be human. And by that I mean, when you take a young male and you tell that young male from the time that he is a boy and doesn't really understand much about himself, and you say, men don't cry. So we take away the function of a human being and then expect him to show up as human. particularly when we don't give that young male information and instruction that they need in order to perform like a man, particularly when they begin to look like one. Simply because a male looks like a man doesn't mean that he performs like one. Growing up in Brooklyn, what I learned, and many brothers like me learned, was all of the things that define masculinity, but not manhood. What we learned was, how much paper does he make? His pecs, how strong is he? Can he fight? And then his penis. In other words, how many women have you slept with? All of those things point to your masculinity, but not necessarily your manhood. The measurement of their manhood is going to come from the dedication that they have to being of service to those in their household, to those in their community, and then society at large. That really is the metric of manhood. But if no one ever teaches you that, and then since the time that you were a young child, they took away the parts that actually made you human, and then wonder why you don't show up humanely. If the only thing that we teach our young males, our young boys, is that men don't cry, and subsequently they're holding all of those things that they have deep feelings about, what we are ultimately doing is we are creating the powder kegs that are eventually going to explode on those of us in our community, namely our women and other children. Many people shame black males for not performing like men simply because they're old enough to be men. And that has absolutely nothing to do with your performance. And the analogy that I draw in order to really bring this into focus is that the car that you drive doesn't care how old you are. The car that you drive only cares about your skill sets. So if no one ever gives you information and instruction about how to drive a car, you're going to wreck every car that you drive. They're not allowed to cry. They're not allowed to talk about when they're afraid. They're not allowed to talk about when they're frightened. They're not allowed to talk about when they feel shame. They're not allowed to talk about any of those things, which steals their humanity away from them. And then everyone is disappointed when they don't show up humanely. Now, don't get me wrong. No one should ever have to tell you not to body slam a woman and then step on her head. No one should have to tell you that. But I will say this. When you leave a young male who is frustrated, fearful, angry, marginalized, demonized, violated, and then say that they don't have the ability to be able to express any of it without being shamed for it, again, we are creating the powder kegs that are going to explode on those of us in our community. So when I said, I agree because I knew what he was talking about. He was talking about the black males that look like the black men. And when I said reporting for duty, absolutely. Because men show up to fix things that they haven't even broken. So as a man, I'm showing up to fix my community, even though I haven't done anything to contribute to it being broken. That's what men do. We show up. And we show up reporting for duty. Listen, we have got to get out of this perpetual state of competing with each other instead of completing with each other. We need to complete the nuclear family. We need to complete the community that we're supposed to be. We need to complete the brotherhood and the sisterhood that we owe each other. And we got to start doing it now because we are running out of time. I'm Dondre Whitfield. I'm a proud black man, and I'm reporting for duty.
Ma'am?
He touches on a lot of things. And this is the scary part. When you're on your healing journey, you get to points of champion, where you want to champion yourself because I feel like I got this. And then, you're fighting against trusting your own instincts. And one of those stages is boundaries and availability. And again, if a male and a man look alike, how do you tell the difference between the two? And if you go back to the first video with the guy, you can almost imagine what the woman looks like that he's doing this to. Mm-hmm. You can almost tell that she has low self-esteem. She probably, doesn't get much attention, so she's gravitating towards his. And a man is going to treat you how you treat yourself. A woman is going to treat you how you treat yourself, because it's more about you than it is about them. If you're at a stage where you value yourself, any point of devalue will be uncomfortable, to the point to where you won't want to engage with that. Healing is so much deeper than, okay, I feel like I'm over that. That happened to me. I'm over it and I'm healed. No. How are you showing up for yourself? How do you show up for yourself without abandoning yourself? How do you still be available but not disappear and not process? The woman that first man spoke to didn't realize that she had disappeared, because she became everything for him. She stepped to the forefront for him. She didn't step up for herself. She showed up for him. And in that moment, she gave him full access to tear her down. It's not even so much, I don't want to say it's not on him, because it is, because he's choosing to do it. But she fully opened herself for that. And because at some point, he was able to seek out where you lack value. And he's going to validate that to get what he wants from you. And so he doesn't need it, without any care on how that's going to affect you and your interactions with anyone else after you. So that's a very scary situation to be in. And I think it's why a lot of people, when they do go on their healing journey, they are abstinent for years. They are no contact for years, because there's so much confusion. And you want to say you can trust yourself, but you've done it and yet been wrong too many times. You want to say, well, I feel like I got this and I'm strong enough. And then you encounter someone and then something to be uncomfortable. And hopefully you will retreat. Retreating is better than engaging in a place where you don't feel like you have control over yourself or the situation, because you've already come so far. And it's almost like it's harder to get back there. So you got to make sure that your boundaries become a form of care. It doesn't mean shutting everyone out. It means shutting out who you need to when you need to. But still, make sure that your identity is still there. Do not disappear through helping other people. Don't continue to push yourself to the back of the line. When you do that, you will deter roaches like that first guy. He won't even want to come in your vicinity, because you're too much of a challenge. They want something easy. And the value that you place on yourself will become a weapon. It will help deter those negative interactions, because you have to protect your energy. You got to protect your peace, your time, and your emotional health. Healing is not just forgiving things that happen and getting over it. Your emotional state is at the core of your identity and how you move and your decision making. So you have to make sure that that is rock solid, because there's some crafty folks out here. There are some very crafty folks out here that will take the time on purpose to be everything that you want them to be, with no intention on actually ever truly being that. Because again, they just want access. So boundaries and availability need to be pulled back. I don't honestly think that anybody, if you're not in a committed relationship, should have full access to you. You haven't earned the right to do that. We're not in partnership. So why am I giving you everything and you're giving me bare minimums? You're feeding bananas to a monkey at this point. You're going to give me the bare minimum so I can continue to try to prove myself to give you the maximum. That's the woman that first man seeks out. He seeks out the one that's going to give way more than she's going to look for in return. She's going to give me everything, tangible and intangible, and I'm just going to give her words. I'm going to give her a touch. I'm going to punch her through the mattress. All the things that I think are going to keep her going along. But boundaries, access. You have to value yourself enough, men and women, to the point to where it makes them uncomfortable, not you. We will make ourselves uncomfortable to make someone else comfortable. We have to stop doing that. That has been embedded in us as a people, to always help someone else at our expense. We are not supposed to be giving from our cup. Bullshit. We're supposed to give from our overflow. My cup is mine. Anything that goes over is excess. That's what you can get from. You're not allowed to pull from my cup because you're not going to refill it. You're not going to maintain it. You're not going to nurture that. So only the overflow. And that comes with value. You're not going to waste my time. There is a point of contention in just conversation and interaction where it's like, no, this doesn't align. This doesn't feel good. This is not the representation that I want to have. If I see someone with me, if someone sees me with this person, their characteristic doesn't align with mine. I don't even want to be seen with that. I'm going to protect my character and my identity to the point to where, this ain't going to work. You're cool and you're amazing for someone. It's just not going to be me. And we have to be okay making people feel uncomfortable, hurting people's feelings sometimes, because it's about us first. We're taught that it's selfish to put ourselves for everyone else. Well, if we're the ones running everything and we're not okay, then what happens? So now everything that we're supposed to take care of is being nurtured at a deficit. No, I got to be full 100%. My battery got to be at 100% at all times in order for me to have the capability and the capacity to be able to be there for you. So I have to come first. And my self-preservation is the first law of survival. If that is true, why do we put ourselves second? Why do we put other people's survival and preservation before our own? We're starting behind right from the gate. We have to change that mindset and understand that no one else puts our value on us. We do. We show up with that. And how we give access, who we give access, and what boundaries that we actually set in place, what parameters, what we're willing to take. What you don't condemn, you condone. You may not think so, but you do. Because you're not saying, no, don't talk to me like that. Don't speak to me like that. No, you can't do that. No, you're not getting my check. Pay your own light bill. I'm not paying your child support. I'm not buying your groceries. I'm not doing any of that. And this is for men and women. You should be able to do that. If you see that I have my stuff together over here and you don't there, honestly, should we even be conversating? Because you want me to help you get somewhere at my age. Now, if you're younger, the dynamic might be a little bit different. But at my big old age, there's some things you got to already have in place, or we really can't have a conversation because we're way past that beginning. We have room to make mistakes level. We got more years behind us than we got ahead of us. What are we doing? I'm not going to spend my forward years helping someone catch up. I'd rather find someone that's already on that same trajectory, at least meet me where I am. So, it's being available should not mean making yourself accessible to harm. That first man is harmful. Being loving should not mean being endlessly available. I can love you and tell you not today. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I don't like when someone calls and says, "What you doing?" No. Ask me how my day is. Tell me what you want. Because I don't need you trying to fit your way into my agenda. I don't need you to try to see how what you want from me can work for you. That's never going to work for me. I'm going to ask you what you want. And that's because I value my time. I value my peace. I might be fully capable as far as time-wise and environment to do what you want. But it don't mean I want to do it. And it's okay if I don't. And if you feel some type of way, that's on you. I care less about how you feel about me protecting myself than how you're not going to feel for me sacrificing this for you. You're not going to care. You got what you wanted. There's probably not going to be any reciprocity in it, but you know that you can do that. So you're going to do that. Not here. Nope. Make sure you call me in a timely fashion, plan ahead of time. Don't make me your last minute. Make sure when you call me that you can't call 911 first. I have a lot of things that I'm doing that will benefit our community as a whole. I am investing time into the causes that I believe need to be changed. What I don't have time for are your frivolous things that you can figure out. And that is because I know my value. I know my worth. I know my impact on my presence in your life. And because I know that, I don't mind if I need to remove that. I don't mind if you don't understand that because I know my value. So I know how I show up for me because I show up for me that way. I know how I show up for you. So I don't have a problem splitting hairs on that. It's not gonna. You're not gonna disrupt anything over here. And if that bothers you, then you probably got ill intent in the first place. What you should be asking is, well, give me some tips on how I can get there so that I can better control my time. I can better plan my life. I can do the things that I want to do, and I can be the best I can be for my circle, my family, my personal community. So, it doesn't have to be hard. It's difficult because it's uncomfortable, because we're not used to it. But if you call me, oh, she's a bitch, I don't care. I don't care. Oh, well, she's selfish. I don't care. I'm not responsible for another adult's bad decision making. I am here to give you resources and tools and help you try to change that process. But I'm not responsible for what you do. You are. No one's responsible for what I do. I'm responsible for my life choice and decisions. Can I seek help? Yes. Can I seek guidance? Yes. But at the end of the day, whatever action that I take, I am responsible for the consequences of that. And because I hold myself to that standard, I'm crippling you if I don't hold you to the same. You're going to have to figure it out. And when it comes to dating and relationships and trying to heal in a relationship, it can be beautiful if both parties are willing to understand what that means. It doesn't mean me saying, Born, you need to. I am. You. Okay, well, I'm pointing, but that thumb is still coming back to me. It just means that I'm willing to see more about you so I can ignore me. It's uncomfortable to heal in a relationship because the fear is subconsciously, that in your healing process, you already know and you probably feel it. This person's no good for me. And the closer I get to healing, the more separate me and this person get because I'm going left and they're going right. We're no longer in the same direction because we have different goals now. And because I'm looking into myself, I might have to pull back a little bit away from you, and you want me 100% there because you're comfortable in your hermit show. That makes you feel good. Doesn't make me feel good anymore. I need time and space. You don't want to give me that. I need to go walk in the woods. You don't want to go take a walk. Now we're arguing because you're thinking that I might be doing something else except for exactly what I'm doing, and points of contention start to come in, and conversations might get deeper or they might be triggered. Triggers might come up faster. Old habits may stop working. And I recognize that. Maybe that was a bad habit. Excuse me. Maybe that habit needed to die. But that habit made you comfortable. It was a comfort for you. So when you're dealing with other people, whether it's family, friends, intimate relationships, your healing journey is so personal. And I think that this is why most people end up putting themselves in isolation. I can love you I can love you to life. But right now where you are is unhealthy for me. The energy, the things that you speak, the things that you do are unhealthy for the stage that I'm at because I'm fragile. That healing process is very fragile. And it does cause separation. It doesn't mean that you won't find your tribe, but your tribe may look different. You may have to cut off those other people or those other situations or other accesses to open the door for likes. People that are on your same trajectory, that have the same goals as you, that have the same understanding of what healing looks like as you. And you're going to hear that you change. Great. That's the goal. How do you heal without changing? In order to heal, things have to change. Things have to shift and move. Oh, you think you're better than? No, you just see something in me that you haven't seen in yourself yet. And you want that, but you don't know how to ask for that. Or you have too much ego. Or you just want to feel like you're okay because some of the negative things that you're doing feel good to you. So I want to continue to do that. And when you're in a relationship, and again, this is any relationship, this is not a gender thing, and it's not just an intimate relationship thing. You both may have to learn a new way to meet each other. You might not, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be on the same speed of healing because you have different things to heal. I may be on childhood trauma. You may be on a prison sentence that you haven't healed from. The experience of living in that environment. And two different things. Yes, they can parallel and they can be very similar, but how they affected us is going to be different. So that takes patience. It takes honesty, and it takes a lot of humility to understand someone else while you're still learning. Can you say, I'm triggered right now? Can you say that without the other person being triggered? Because now you got to think about, I got to muster up the strength to say that because I have to identify something that's going on in me. But imagine how that feels when you're afraid to say that to the person that you need to say it to, because that might trigger them. And now we're in an argument. And I never wanted an argument. I just wanted to take a walk. You may have to say, I need you to hear me without trying to fix me. In this moment, I just need you to hear me. I need you to listen with the intent to understand, not respond. Just hear me. I don't want a solution. I just want you to hear me. Let me get this out without interruptions, interjections, your feelings being involved. Let this be about me for this moment. Yes, I will give you the opportunity to talk about you. But in this moment right now, I need to release this. Let me release that in love. And the other person may need to listen without taking everything personally. And that other person may be you too. You may be in your healing journey, because two things can be true at the same time. I could be totally killing it on my healing journey, but that may shut me off from yours because we're doing it differently. I may not even like how you do it. I might not like what you believe. I might not like your source. I might not like any of those things, but I still have to humble myself that what works for me doesn't mean that something different won't work for someone else. A healthy relationship doesn't mean nobody ever struggles. That's not the reality. We do need to work on working. We need to work on working on healthy situations. It means both people are willing to grow. We're both willing to communicate. We're both willing to make room for the truth. Healing doesn't remove the relationship from reality, but it does bring reality to the front so that the relationship can either deepen or reveal what needs to be addressed in a healthy fashion. If you need to walk away, walk away. If you need to take a moment, take that moment, because that processing time will allow us to continue. Emotion won't. It's really like a gun. It's a gun with a hairline trigger, and that's something that you don't want to have to do. So, and as he's addressing men and what a man looks like, what that looks like showing up, and that's leadership. A lot of males think that because they're strong, because they can, do certain things. Not that they do it well, not that they're proficient or efficient in it, but just because they have the capability of doing things because of the gender. They feel like they are men, because no man is going to tell you they're a male. No male is going to tell you. They're always going to say man. No one's ever going to say I'm not that, unless they truly are identifying themselves in their healing journey. But they may not say it to you. They might say it to themselves. But they're never going to identify as that because they know the difference. Everyone knows the difference. And same thing with women too. We know the difference. We know that we're not a monolith and that everybody is not great. But I believe there's more greatness on both sides than there is not greatness. It just happens that the most negative parts of us, the most negative characteristics, us at our lowest point is what's being highlighted. But in our everyday interaction, is that our reality? Depending on where you live, where you work, what type of crowd you choose to be around, it may be your reality. It's not mine. I don't live around a bunch of Black men that I fear. I don't live around a bunch of Black men where I don't feel protected. I don't live around a bunch of Black men that are not walking their kids to school, are not involved in their children's lives. That may also be because I choose not to be around men like that because we're not going to be on the same plane. But, I'm happy to see that there is someone like him that is making a call. He threw the bat signal. What are we going to do about this? Because on both sides, male or female, we cannot again have community without communication and unity. We need to just drop the genders. Let's just drop them. Let's just deal with what's the right thing to do as a whole for everybody. We don't need to start putting titles or anything on it. This is a community-wide issue that needs to be addressed. Someone needs to make the same call for women, because I know somebody is saying, "Oh, you're always talking about men, but what about the women? Women too." I'm not a gender warrior. I'm not a feminist. I am a I like community. I like my black men. I like my black women. I want us to work together so that we can build something great again. Like, the hell with Make America Great Again. Let's make the black community great again. Let's make blackness great again. And we can't do that. We need to think more forward thinking. We need to look at blueprints from other sectors where that's worked, even if it's outside of us. And unification is the key. So many other cultures are light years ahead of us. They're generationally years ahead of us when it comes to legacy, because of the way that they move as one. They don't even like each other, but they'll still all stay in the same house. And everybody will build their money up till they have a business. Everybody works for the business. They pull more people over, and then they send those kids to college, and then they pay for weddings, and then they make sure that they marry within their own group. And then they use group economics, and one person buys a house. Everybody lives in it. Next, somebody else buys a house, and the families start to branch off, so that within 10 to 15 years, everybody has their own home, and they have their own income, their money circulating in their own community, and they don't need anything from the outside. But for some reason, we can't even live next door to each other. We can't even be on social media with each other without biting each other's heads off. So we have to get to a better space of understanding with each other. Stop this gender war. It's killing us. This, you did, I did, because of you, because you didn't, that's killing us. We have to stop it. It's sad. It's disgusting. It's childish. We really need to just understand that we have a system working against us that has truly shifted and just shook us up to where we're sifting through each other. We don't like each other. We identify as each other, but we don't like what we identify as. We think that the white man's ice is colder. Anything that comes from him is set in stone. We can't listen and hear each other. These are all things that we need to work on. And what that man just said is a key factor in changing the trajectory of that. Just fix it. Forget all the nonsense. We don't need a bunch of chiefs. We need all Indians hands on. All Indians on deck. Let's just do it.
We're going to take a one song music break, and we're going to be right back. We got the question in the chat. We're going to deal with that question, and we're going to go to the women aspect of this. So tell somebody we live. You're getting the greatest of the greatest right now. Stuff Me So podcast. You understand what I'm saying? With Miss You Now and your brother Knowledge Born. We'll be right back. Right back.
Here, the centuries of loneliness were to end.
Your collection of Leonardo da Vinci masterpieces, Mr. Flint.
They appear to have been recently painted.
On contemporary canvas with contemporary materials.
Then, age, death, the taste of dust. Do you understand?
You wanted a perfect, ultimate woman. As brilliant, as immortal as yourself. Your mate for all time.
Merkaba master, I charter demons to other worlds, drive devils to plaster, rush them to hell, breathing asthma, place Satan on gurneys next to Hermes, send them off to their journey to Cleopatra. They read those chapters, egos captured, the Leo laughter, neoplasma, run through my veins in this matrix, and my basement became a plaza. And now I'm in the Sky Lounge with negative spirit hackers, build on math and we read the chapters, observe through our windows at the quiet disasters, riots at NASA, marches, gender pride, freedom rights for the masses, till we do away with first and second citizen classes. Religion is backwards, trying to comprehend to the pastor. This gym is like Jasper. Either we all live and strive for the youth to survive, or it all ends with the rapture. Forget waiting on the man, I'm making a plan. And for the ages of false statements, I'm taking a stand. Start an investigation on Satan with a cross in my hand. Make him plead guilty, now face the jury. We're in the courts of I am. If I could just vanish from off the planet, like magic, become caught from granite. Days, mathematics is understanding.
Hey, hey, did you hear? This is the perfect place disappear. Did you hear? This is the perfect place to disappear.
A billion stories in the naked city. Ghost told me that his best friend needs a kidney. We froze, reminiscing Tiffany in the cold. Open whiskey from the 20s in the memory. Sympathy made the angels play a symphony. Said he could've had a scholarship. Toured different colleges. Now he's out of it, fading away slowly on dialysis. His name remained anonymous, but here's my acknowledgements. Street legends and hood guards. Kingdom fall into a mirage. Ghetto depression sets in. Then we place weed and cigars. A child has difficulties concentrating. From where he lives, he sees his promises fading. He sees his pops gone, his mom's is aging. She trying to stay strong for a church congregation. And meanwhile, a kid named Rico was the coke king. A lot of siblings of the dope fiends hope you scream. A lot of children with broken dreams, homes were clean. The most extreme, you got rich and what you sold to queens. Look what you did to Josephine. And Ebony is unheavenly. The devil's ready with open wings. As Lucifer uses love and his youthful mug. Then his blood on the cobra's fangs.
Hey, hey, did you hear? This is the perfect place to disappear. Did you hear? This is the perfect place to disappear.
That gangbang stuff not in, man. I'm getting some money. Stiglo, aka chasing money. That's my game.
Being dead broke is the root of all evil. When you got this money, you can do a lot with it. When you ain't got no money, you can't do nothing. You thinking of ways to get it. People will rob for this money, kill for this money, steal for this money, scam for this money, script for this money, sell dope and take trips for this money. But when they ain't got it, they'll come kill you about that money. Nigga, set your ass up in a motherfucking jam about this money. Nigga, snitch on you about some money. So why we take money so motherfucking lightly? You got the value of dollar, but you gotta understand it ain't gonna never stay in your pocket. It gonna go from your pocket to his pocket to her motherfucking wallet.
It ain't no grind if it don't make sense. It ain't no grind if it don't make sense. It ain't no grind if it don't make sense. It ain't no grind if it don't make sense. It ain't no grind if it don't make sense. How you gonna eat? How you paying your rent? Where you gonna sleep? You sleeping on the tent? You living on the street? You sleeping on the bench? I'm on the inside with the outside set. Now I'm on the inside, now we're outside mix.
So I'm on the inside with the outside set. Now I'm on the inside, now we're outside mix.
Cause I don't so dimes, I don't so nicks. Plug with the plug, cause my man so bricks. With the water town with the OT trip. We made a bad stage with the OT flip. I don't so music, so CDs. Sold a bunch of movies, DVDs. And Goodman Plaza, we all made cheese. To securities, call the police. I done posted up with the hot dog cart. All beef dogs with the meat sauce mark. I can bring it back, come again, restart. But now I got a maze, especially every dark. Old school tab with the marker, we sharp. Down to the dawn, in the water, we sharks. Old school tab with the marker, we sharp. We can mark it anywhere in the Moscow art. You can pump blood through my vein like heart. Don't let the bull fly, bull's eye, that starts. Just in the parking lot, in the car, we park. With the music turned up, this how we spark. Rolling up tree with the backwood bark. Pocket full of vapes and they all smart cars. Separate day from the light like dark. And we bring green back like the month of March. It ain't no grind if it don't make sense. It ain't no grind if it don't make sense. It ain't no grind if it don't make sense. It ain't no grind if it don't make sense. You can put my pay coin on Bitcoin. Listen, I just want my cash back. I'ma put my pack in that trap, and I'ma give my partner half that. Take the debit card to the register until the cashier won't cash back. You can put my pay on PayPal, you can put my cash on Cash App, you can put my coin on Bitcoin. Listen, I just want my cash back. I'ma put my pack in that trap, and I'ma give my partner half that. Take the debit card to the register until the cashier won't cash back.
You supposed to have more than you show and speak less than you know about this money. Cause once people know about this money, they gon' come get this money. And if you don't give it, they gon' take this money. And if you still in their way about this money, they gon' kill you about this money.
Yes. We back in the building. Okay, I hope y'all like that song. I seen a couple of y'all dancing. Okay, I can see y'all. Seen a couple of y'all dancing. Like, you know. But we back, and we got a question in the audience from Assorted Conversations with Ursula. Boom, boom.
One moment before we go there, I just want to touch on one more thing on this healing process. This will be the last part of it. I want to talk about parenting while healing. Our children's needs do not stop based upon whatever we're going on. And it's its own responsibility. It's its own kind of responsibility when you're actually parenting and trying to heal. Our children are blank canvases, and they are our chance to get it right. Like they do. We get mad at them for things that they do, but they do what we do. We get mad because we see ourselves in their actions.
Right.
Because that's my mouth. That's my bullshit. I can't even get mad at this kid because they're doing what I showed them. They're doing what I put into them. And because their needs don't stop while you're working on yourself, it's the hardest thing to do when you're trying to break a cycle while you're still healing from the cycle that you actually came out of. So now you have this little person and they've seen you do this behavior over and over again. And you're comfortable with it, but you know it's not good. It's not good for the child. And you're trying to break the child. And the child says, but you do it. That's hard when you're already in that healing moment. And it's like, yeah, I know. But what we have to do in those moments is acknowledge that, you know what, you're right. And I shouldn't do that. Not do what you tell. I'm the adult. You're the kid. Nah, that doesn't work. That's cowardice. That's being a punk. And that's not owning accountability to your change. We have to change out loud in front of our children because they're going to learn how to interact and how to handle things based upon what we showed them. And this is where your intentions matter. When you start your healing journey, if you have children, they need to be part of that. That part of the intention is to be better so that they can be better. You want to be a better representation as a human being for that child. And you may not get it right every time. You may still raise your voice. You may still yell at them. You're still going to get overwhelmed. And you may even need a moment to collect yourself. If you do that, it's going to teach your child to do that. But if you need that, also understand that your child may need that as well. Because they're learning to handle things how you've shown them. So if you've learned that moment has helped for you, why would you think it wouldn't work for them? We have to get out of now there's some things that, yes, there should be a separation between child and parent. But when it comes to emotions, we have to acknowledge that they have big emotions and they need to be tended to. But we also have to teach them how to do that by our reactions. So if you're willing to reflect with your child in live and in living color, you know what? Thank you for showing mommy that. I need to pay attention to that. I'm going to work on that. That's not something I should be doing. I could handle that better. And even say, this is what I could have done better. I'm going to work on that. Apologize. You know what? I'm sorry. Mommy's frustrated right now. I shouldn't have yelled at you. Tell me what you need. Let me stop what I'm doing right now and give you the attention that you need. What do you need from me? Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to do this with you, but I have to finish these other things. So when I do this, I need you to be okay and give me a minute so I can finish these other things. It's real conversations that you need to have, and you have to do better. You have to behave better. Watch the conversations you're having with your friends. Don't talk about their daddy in front of them. Don't talk about their mama in front of them. Don't talk about their nana in front of them. You know, adult conversations should be held amongst adults. But please, I mean, let's be realistic. We had We knew not to be an adult stuff. But did they ever do it outside of our ear range? No. There's no door in that room. You're going to tell me to go to the next room. I still hear you. You just don't want me in the space. But that's not protecting a child from the conversation. And you're having adult conversations without context and without explanation to people whose minds can't even process what you're saying. And then the next thing you're saying is, oh, they acting grown. Now they acting like you. They acting exactly like what you put them in. And then when you do that, if you do better, if you work on doing better and really understand that a lot of the things that you want to teach your child are the things that you need to change about yourself, then your children are seeing something powerful. They're going to see growth in motion. That is important because children learn a lot from how we handle correction, conflict, and accountability. They learn what repairs look like. They learn that love includes truth. This child is such a liar, but you lie in every conversation you say. Don't answer the phone, tell him I ain't here. Don't answer that door. Don't answer that door. You know, all the omissions that we want to do with our children, just tell your teacher that we went on vacation and you get your homework done later. You're literally telling your child to lie and teaching them to lie, right, and then get mad. But you're the liar. You're really mad at what you're seeing in that child that actually identifies as you. So if you see that your child is doing something over and over again, go get in the mirror. I dare you. Stand in the mirror and say, why is my child doing this? Because you do it. Mm-hmm. And if you have real friends, they'll let you know. You shouldn't do that. Stop doing that to your kid. Stop putting them in adult conversations. Stop making this child say things to adults. And then when they say it without you, they're being grown. You're teaching that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, because they learn, you can teach them that being a parent doesn't mean pretending to be perfect. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
I thought it was mine. I'm telling you, I'll be thinking, my Wi-Fi be on do not disturb.
Your Wi-Fi be on do not disturb?
That's it. I got Trump Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? So.
Trump Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
No, we just had a power glitch. Give me a moment.
Oh, good.
Okay, I just lost you. Give me a second here. Let me find you again.
It's the Mark Booty.
Shit. Nah. Love the royal priesthood. Mark Buddha, Sekou the madman, Killer Priest, Fourth Chambers, Full Fuji. This beat sound like something I wear. You dig? Yo, hold on my people, why you walking around like you equal? They wrote you in as 3/5. What we gonna do about this? Talk too much, you end up like Jimi Hendrix in 27 Club. You want that knowledge? Well, I'm the plug. Knowledge itself is the drug. And I keep dropping the nugs. Culture pushing, wisdom spitting, pimping simpletons into listening. Yawning while you spewing fiction. I can feel the tensions in your intentions. I wonder if that's John's in heaven. If God is white, why he write that bronze was the sun? They give us reparations, that's when the apocalypse begun. Yeah. Red rhyme, okay. Yeah. Red rhyme, better rhyme. Grab your guns, daughters and sons. Wasn't long ago when they had us hung. Blood on the leaves, frontal crumbled in between. Exhale for my ancestors that prevailed. We inhale, so we inhale, dodging death every day. Just happy I'm here to tell the tale. Meanwhile, y'all with the pigs and them tattletales. I'ma just be a scientist if it all fails. Mixing chemicals like a cocktail. My tree smell like it's from the tropical. So not for sale, never settle. Follow the tears on the trail. Nah.
That whole African American thing is to omit, you see, the indigenous black man of this particular land. When we brought the African American term, we cut out all of the Caribbean, all of South America, all of Latin America. And this is another way to reclassify you, you see what I'm saying, outside of power.
We got blacks, whites, brown and yellow. We got red, those with dreads found from the ghetto. We got bullet-led and misled, the smile of the devil. On the face of the moon, heart pound like a rebel. Hear the sound of the metal, war in Iraq. 6 feet underground with the shovel, all over the map. The Bible said signs of the time. The Torah said that's your God, not mine. The Holy Quran says it's all Allah designed. The Buddhist says let's meet at the shrine. Thou shalt not eat of the swine. That you is the cut, sure as blue as the blood. Kill a priest in the temple, Nehru is the love.
That's a political move that was put in by the government to break you down to this subclass, you see, and not be a world community. So to call you an African American is to disconnect you from that global community and that great diaspora that we were talking about. So that's a political move. Yes, come on. The average Native American was this brother's complexion at the turn of the century. Now when you say Native American, it's some white person with a feather in his hair.
My apologies. We're having a storm and I'm in the Midwest, so we get power outages out here like Nigeria. But we got generators. We got backup generators.
Yeah. Better have a generator or when. You was making a point before we got into the question. So,
well, I would just say, as parents, just remember, look at those little mirrors and be mindful. Like, you know, if you're not the best man, the moment that you have a child, work on becoming that. Because I always tell people, when it comes to relationships that have children, make sure that your child is with, well, if it's a woman, make sure that you get with the man that you would want your son to be like, and that you in adulthood would want your daughter to be with that man with those characteristics and qualities. If you look at the man that you're with and you say, I would never want my daughter being with somebody like you, why are you with him? I would never want my son to be with someone like you. Why are you with that person? Same thing for a man. If she doesn't have the mothering qualities that you really would want for your children, why is she around your children? And if you would never want your son dating someone like her, you shouldn't be with them. Children are very sensitive. They're very impressionable. And because you're their protector and you're their keeper, they're going to expect that you're going to bring people around them that represent what you want them to be. So, you know, people can be very harmful to children. There's so many ways that can go. But at the same time, just please understand that your needs do not supersede your child's needs. When you're picking a partner, you pick someone for the family, not for yourself. Now, what is the question that we had? Okay, is it the one that's highlighted in blue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Ursula. So how do you put yourself first without being selfish or seeming conceited? First of all, you don't do it without being selfish. You do it being selfish. There is nothing wrong with being selfish. You need to take care of yourself first. So if you're taking care of everyone else, if I get in my car and I need to go, I'm in Missouri, I need to go to New York. At some point, I got to make sure that gas tank stays full. At the moment that tank is no longer full, that car's not moving. At the moment that you are depleted and you have nothing else to give to anyone, including yourself, everything falls apart. There's nothing that you can do with that. You have to get to the point to where you just don't care, because it's important. My self-worth, my self-care, my self-attention, my sleep, everything about me is important and it has value. And when you place that value on yourself, you won't let anybody take from that. Again, I will always go back to the cup. You only get from my overflow. So putting yourself first doesn't necessarily mean pushing everyone out, or it may. But sometimes, Ursula, and I'm guilty of this, I will enable people. I will crutch people by not allowing them to have their full experiences. We are all living our testimonies of life. We are all going through our trials and tribulations. I believe that life was full of experience and lessons, and how you perceive your experience will determine the lesson. So we do want to save everybody, but sometimes that saving actually is coddling, it's enabling, and it's crippling. I promise you, if you remove yourself from the equation, they will figure it out. They just don't, because it's easier to go to you. Everything that we go through, we just figure it out, to the point to where everybody feels comfortable coming to us because we always figure it out. Well, that is built in you when you have no one to go to. We do that because we don't have anyone to go to. So we feel empathy when we feel like somebody doesn't have someone to go to, and we want to be that go-to person. Nah, sometimes I got to get their knee scraped up. They got to put that finger in their mouth and suck their own blood. They got to just figure it out. So I don't want you to feel selfish and conceited. If someone else says that you're conceited, that should not bother you. If that's not how you feel, how someone else feels about you is not your problem. If you wake up every day and you go to bed at night and you feel like an amazing person and that you've done some amazing things for yourself and your family and your community and your home, do not let someone devalue you by putting a title on you that makes you uncomfortable. It feels uncomfortable because it's not who you are. People love you based upon the access they can have to you. People love you and they celebrate you when they feel like they can be a part of that, when they feel like they can attach to that. But the moment anything happens without them, now all of a sudden, here comes the names. Oh, she thinks she all that. Oh, she thinks she white now. Or she got a little bit of money. She bougie. She conceited. Oh, she's so self-centered. So what? So what? I earned everything that I have. I earned every right that I have. I've earned every piece of energy that I put into myself. And if you don't see that as a value that you can actually put into yourself, it's not my responsibility to pour that into you. Not that I'm saying I don't want to be there for you. I have all the resources and tools for you, but I refuse to do the work for you. And I am guilty of doing that for way too many years. And now that I'm putting my energy back into myself, I'm seeing all the things come to fruition that I want, that I've always wanted to do, and put my energy where I want it to go. You let people control your energy and your emotions when you give them that much access to where they can actually tell you who you are. You wake up every day knowing who you are. Don't let anybody tell you no different. And if they say you can see this, so what? Tell them to spell it. Tell them to get your real definition of what does that mean. It may not even be as harmful as they think. So it's a last shout at you because you're cutting off access. You're denying access to something they've always had. And now they got to do their own work and they don't like that. They don't like you for it. It's okay. You will lose people along the way. You will. I promise you. Like, that's a guarantee. And everything lost is not bad. Everything lost is just, there are some people that will be here for, a season and a reason. They may be reasons. If they can't celebrate you through your evolution, celebrate that you feel better, that you look better, that you do better, that's dead energy. Let it go. So no, it can be done. But no, it can't be done without being selfish. You got to be selfish. It's okay.
And if that don't work, hit him in the forehead with ice cube. Okay, hit him in the
Tell them to call me. Just tell them to call me. They got a problem with you.
Let's speak to my manager.
Absolutely, I'll be more than glad to set that straight. I will take all those calls.
Yeah. All right, so we got these other two videos. These two videos. Oh yeah. Big kills.
Well, hold on one moment before we go into a video. Someone said in here they need 5 wives. While we watch the videos, if you don't mind, I would be very interested in seeing what your plan is for that. And I'm not saying that being facetious, because I'm not saying I would do it, but I'm not against it. I'm not opposed to the idea. I just would like to see what your actual plan is for that type of family.
And then let's see. They're kind of related, so I think I could play both of them in this short. So
Black men understood that a lot of the times, I wish that people in general, but especially Black men, understood that a lot of the times our anxiety as Black women shows up as irritation or aggression, but we are not necessarily angry. We never really get that pass to be like, you hear about white women tears, but when a Black woman cries, she's looking for sympathy. When a Black woman is irritated or has an anxiety or is overwhelmed or is overstimulated, she's with an attitude. When a Black woman needs help, she doesn't get help. So when we go out and get the help that we need to get, then we're too masculine and we shouldn't have done it anyway. And we need to depend on the same men that say that we're not desirable. So I wish we, as a culture, dived more into the mental health.
Where you're going to be labeled that regardless of what you do. There's some times where you're going to be labeled that regardless of what you do, because of the stigma attached to a Black woman speaking her mind, right? And the reality is never forget, it was illegal for us to read, okay? So I always remind people of that, because when we now live in a world where Black women are educated, where we're employed, we're independent, for a lot of people, that's like, whoa, what are you doing? And so at the end of the day, I get a lot of people who will ask me, Amanda, like, I'm very vocal with my thoughts. I'm very clear, I'm very sharp, and people take that as me being an angry Black woman. And I say, well, one, if you're a Black woman and you're conscious, you are naturally going to be angry. Like, there's a lot
to be angry about. There's some things that are still dusty.
James Baldwin said that, and that, I paraphrase, but that's a fact. At the same tone, though, the fact of the matter is that some people will try and call you angry to diminish the value of what you're saying.
Right, exactly. Ooh, there's a little mind manipulation right there.
Yes, and so the truth is that a lot of times I feel like people are more interested in the tone of what you're saying than what you're actually saying. And with Black women, I think that we get the brunt of that on a regular basis. And what you really need to focus on is the fact that you got to be true to yourself. And I think that there is something to be said with knowing the nuance of how to speak in certain spaces and learn for yourself that, you know what, it ain't about learning how to be phony. It's about how to find a new way of being real.
Yeah.
Shout out to Keita Rose and Amanda. I don't always agree with them, but when they write, I'm with them. Being an angry Black woman, again, that's the title. I don't care. I'm going to speak my mind. I know that I speak with conviction. I know that I speak with passion, but I also stand on what I said. I said what I said. And I don't intentionally come harmful. I try my best to speak, you know what I'm saying, keeping in mind how what I'm going to say is going to affect someone, but not holding myself responsible, because most of the time, it's not what I said to you that is the problem. It's what you said to yourself about what I said that's the problem. I don't like to debate. I like having conversations with the intention of understanding. I can understand your perspective and still not agree with it. And we can be absolutely fine. No tension whatsoever. That's how you feel. It's okay for you to feel that way. I don't feel that way. A lot of people don't understand true dialogue. You speak, I listen, I speak, you listen. People will overtalk. And the new communication now, thanks to social media, is I'm going to be louder because I say it and I'm louder and you're wrong. And your mother was a whore. And it's like, But we were talking about the price of gas is going up right now. What does any of that have to do with anything? And the louder you yell, the more fake passionate you sound, the more right, the more aggressive that you speak. It's almost like that person's right because you've now interjected the person's point, didn't let them finish, and you put so much into it, and then you'll throw a alley-oop in there, and then now the whole trajectory of the conversation is changed, and you're going to go somewhere else because you don't know how to have that conversation. You don't feel in that moment educated enough to continue to speak on that, or there's something in it, or you're going to be caught to where you're not correct. Instead of just saying, you know what, I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know that. Now I can have a different perspective. No, we want to run with a whole nother narrative and divert the conversation somewhere totally different. I can't converse like that. I'll tell you quick, you got it. Because you used to be able to control me through my emotions by offending me. Instantly, I'm going to go into emotion, and now we're going to have an attack. When I truly learned that was actually a tactic, I don't want to talk anymore because you're not intelligent enough to have this conversation with me at this point. If I have to argue with an adult, why are we talking? That means that there's no need for us to have this conversation because once emotion sets in place, neither one of us, like physically, psychologically, like it's actually a fact that when emotion sets in and anger sets in or any negative emotion, you don't have the ability to hear anymore. Why am I going to engage in that? My time is valuable. Now, if you want to discuss it, we can discuss it. We can talk about it. But I'm not going to argue with an adult. I don't even argue with kids. I don't negotiate with terrorists. So I'm not going to have that back and forth. So, but I can be intimidating. I don't care because I'm not coming with intimidation. I'm only intimidating because I'm doing something that the other side finds scary because they're comfortable doing it, but you're uncomfortable with me doing it. But I know my value. I know my worth. I know my presence in the room. I know that I'm an asset anywhere that I go, anywhere that I put my energy into, I'm an asset to that. So either you're going to roll with the punches and accept that my voice is just as powerful as hers, and I ain't coming with no tears. I'm coming with pure raw energy. It's not my job to make you comfortable. I just make sure that I don't intentionally come with the intention to make you uncomfortable. I can't control how you feel. It's called self-esteem for a reason. It's called your emotions for a reason. And I'm not, again, aggressive. I don't feel like I'm aggressive. And if you do, then maybe you should check yourself. Because if I talk with the same passion, the same volume, and the same tone as you do, it's not even what I'm saying. It's my presence. My skin is a weapon, and you'll never be disarmed as long as you wear the skin. So at that point, if I know that that's how you think, why do I care? So that whole moniker of what we are, we're loud, we're boisterous. And she's right. Keita is so right when she says, we're not angry. We may be going through something. We just don't want to be bothered. Why can't we just say that? And when we say that, we're wrong. Oh, you guys are so rude. No, I just don't want to be bothered. Why can't that just be okay? I don't want to engage with you right now. And I'm not going to. So you can talk to yourself, and then it's, oh, you're belittling me, or you're being evasive. And it's like, no matter what we do as Black women, sometimes it just feels like there's just never a lane for us because the goalposts always shifts. The lanes constantly are moving. And there's a lot of confusion with us because we don't know what to do, because no matter what we do, it's a problem unless it's positive. Then, it's not about us. But if it's negative, it's all us. Men being gay, our fault. Men going to prison, our fault. Men not having jobs, our fault. Men not having education, our fault. Slavery, our fault. Everything is our fault. And it's just like, and so the best thing that I can say, get the fuckets. I don't care. Then fine. I'll take it. And I'm going to go on and live my life because I got bills to pay. I got communities to speak to. I got ears that I need to rest my words upon. I don't have time to weed and seed everyone's emotions about this angry Black woman moniker. And it's like, what was the other woman again? Amanda. Like she says, everything we do is in an interrogation room. We don't get to sit on the beach and chill. We don't get to feel. We're still in slavery when it comes to us being allowed to have an emotion. And it's sad that a white woman's tears can get someone murdered, but a black woman's tears is attention seeking. That's sad. That's a horrible space to be in from your own people. That's ridiculous. But again, this is why we need to drop everything and just focus on community. And again, I'm not absolving women. We are so quick, our tongues are like swords. We will cut a man to pieces with our mouth. And we will take his pain and we will weaponize it against him the same that he will do us. We will talk about his mama. We will talk about his ugly child. We will do all types of things to hurt that man. And we got to be mindful that what we say can't always be taken back. Oh, I said that in anger. A drunk mind to me speaks the same as an angry mind. They're related because you're in raw emotion. You're saying what you really feel. The same way you would if you were drunk or if you were high. So no, you meant that. You may not mean it a moment after you said it, but in that moment you meant that. And because you can feel that way, that's dangerous. And how can you expect to cut someone down? You cut their identity, you cut their communication, you cut everything about their identity into pieces and you segment it. And in every segment, everything they do and how they move is negative. How do you think that makes any person feel psychologically? How do they, if I can't identify and be uplifted and get life spoken to me from someone that looks like me, and then you compound that with the whole nother system, different other races, other experiences, jobs, everything. Where am I? I've now diminished again. I've now disappeared. And I'm on autopilot moving through life, just trying to figure out if I'm going to wake up tomorrow. Because I have all these things going on. So yeah, the whole what we are, and the same thing with black men. I see more black dads walking their kids to school than I ever did. I see more black dads co-parenting healthy than I've ever seen. Because Lord knows when I was growing up, I didn't see it like I see it today. But we don't highlight those things. We want to highlight the ones that are crashing out, throwing bricks through car windows, and vice versa with the women too. Women are trying their best to make their way with the children that they have, whether there's a man there or not. But instead of highlighting the ones that have college graduates, high school graduates, children that are doing amazing things, we want to highlight the ones that are doing negative. Not that I'm saying that those don't need to be addressed, but that is not the absolute of who we are as a community. And we have to change our desire and our taste for entertainment. We have to change our stimulations, because we are feeding that algorithm with our need for that negativity. If we stop watching it and we stop engaging with it, it wouldn't come up on our timeline. Where our attention goes, our energy goes. And that energy feeds that algorithm and continues to feed us these unhealthy external foods that we really don't need. The whole concept of social media has put us in a microwave mentality to where everything is in 15 and 30-second reels. We are so overstimulated that we have so much information that we can't retain because we're filling it with the algorithm instead of actual knowledge. We are pulling ourselves away from our own spirituality. I don't care if you sit in church every single day. If you are on that phone every single day, you're disconnected. And I'm not saying that you don't still have a connection with God, but it ain't as close as it would be if you stop that God. There was a show, what was it called? Something about the gods. You know what I'm talking about, Born? It was
American Gods.
American Gods. And if you really watch that show, it helps you understand what we've deitized. Social media, TV, music, celebrity. We literally deitize these things to where they are actually gods to us now, to the point to where they affect our nervous systems, they affect our organs, they affect so many different things. Our children, we're wondering why we have this uptick in ADHD because of social media, because of the blue screen, the new HD TVs. We went from the record, which actually resonated with our melanin, to a CD, which actually disrupts it. And now we go to streaming because streaming keeps us on a screen. And now the artists are not even getting paid. That's a whole nother object. But the problem is we are too in tune with energies and sequences that are not healthy for us, that we can't hear God. I'm seeing so many people say, I know how to pray. I've been taught how to pray, but I don't know how to listen to God. Turn your fucking phone off. Go touch some grass. Go touch your children. Hug your child. Put your hand on their shoulder when you're talking to them. Hold their hand. Acknowledge them. Play with them. Like, that human interaction is important, and social media is putting us further away. People are having full-on relationships and marriages and never even seeing each other. Literally having full-on relationships and never physically seeing each other because we're so in tune with this technology that it's controlling us and we don't see it. We don't understand that we are in the matrix and we swallowed the red and the blue pill. And then we're told what to think, what to wear, what to eat, how to move, where we should work, what to learn in 10-second reels. Our minds are meant to absorb things and we're over processing it. And if you over process anything, it's going to break down. Mental illness is at an all-time high. We have ADHD, we have depression. We have AIs that are teaching your children how to commit suicide. There's even a thing out now where you literally can get an app and there's a little fake little alien looking thing that you can have a full conversation with, and you have full on conversations and talk to this thing as if it's a friend. We are getting so far away from human connection that when we do interact, we just don't know what to do. COVID was the most damning thing that could have ever happened to us. But these technologies, we really have to go touch some grass, stick your toes in some dirt. It matters. Stand outside on concrete without your shoes. Like, we got to get back to nature. All these things are happening around us because we're not protecting Mother Nature. We're just tearing our ass up and just living day by day. And every time we do something, technology is the enemy of nature. Every time we delve deeper into technology, nature feels the wrath of it. And we have got to start coming back to nature. And I say that as an angry Black woman.
So is there anything else to be said about this episode? Anything else you want to touch on? And also, can you talk about next week's episode?
I will say that, there's stages of grief, just like, and there's stages of healing. You may not start at the same point with either. And you will grieve during your healing process. So understand that you will have deep emotions. You may wake up and just start bawling because you've released. You may get diarrhea. You may throw up. You may get sick and feel like you have the flu. Like, sometimes healing can be detoxing when you let things go. So, during these stages of change, always remember who you are. Don't lose your identity in that. Don't try to become, something that you're not. Like she said, don't be fake. Be you. It's okay being you, but you have to have confidence in that in order for that to be accepted. And you really have to stand on business. You got to stand on your square. This is who I am. This is how I'm coming. But make sure you're coming healthy as well. There's a duality to everything. You have to, and it's a constant balancing act. It's never a day where I don't have to balance something. There's never a day where I don't have to think about or reflect or see what I could have done better. How am I showing up? That's my biggest motto. Whenever a challenge comes, how am I showing up? Because that matters. How I show up is the most important thing. That's important to me. So, keep your identity, but I always know who I am. Good, bad, indifferent. I know my angels, I know my demons. I can recognize that. And I don't kill my demons. I just keep my foot on their neck because they break glass in case of emergency. So don't think that you have to become like the Dalai Lama or Gandhi or something like that. No, you just have to become the best version of yourself. And, we're talking about that moment when you realize that healing is not something that you can wait for. You can't wait for life to make room for it. You have to incorporate it in. It has to become part of your lifestyle. Because if you wait, life is lifing like crazy right now. You'll never start. You'll never do anything. Small steps. And it has to be, it has to happen in the middle of life. has to happen actively while you're lifing. It has to happen in the middle of pressure. And it has to happen in the middle of responsibility, in the middle of being needed. Your healing is always there because we're responsible. We are each other's mirrors. We're responsible for everything to a certain extent. But if I take care of my community and my home, and I try my best to put out really good spiritually aligned beings, then that's going to have a reflection because hopefully they'll go do the same. And then they'll get around other people that are doing the same. And eventually we'll have a domino effect. I know I say a lot what we're not responsible for, but we are responsible for ourselves and how we show up. And just that one beacon of light that we come through with a flicker can actually start a wildfire if we're just mindful of how we move. And by no means, I have never once said it was easy. It is not easy. Well, it's hard. It's easy and it's hard at the same time. It's as easy or as hard as you want to make it. If you resist it, it's going to be hard. If you flow with it, it will become palatable. It will feel a lot less stressful, but it is possible. And you got to start with an awareness. You got to start with self-evaluation. I am constantly check and balancing myself. I am constantly evaluating. Who do you want to be? What does it take to get there? Are you taking the steps to get there? What things do you need to change? What things do you need to improve? What things do you need to do more or less of? It's a constant mental gymnastics going on. And you got to start with just that one honest conversation. And you got to start with one pause before reacting and one boundary. You got to start with one truth. And that's how change actually begins. So for our next episode, I want to talk about children. I want to talk more about the child. We talked about the men. We talked about women. Actually, before we do the child, let's talk about that intimate relationship. Let's talk about that intimate relationship. We have the external relationships, the friends, the families, the associates. But let's really talk about a relationship between a Black man and a Black woman. And again, it's not a monolith, but it does need to be discussed because we don't want each other anymore. We want to go outside. We want to go try and explore other things. And the more that we do that, the less chance that we have of ever really having a community because we're creating something different when we have value and power right within us as Black Americans. But we want to go external. So I think that that's a conversation that needs to be had. It's going to speak about identity. Well, what about the Africans and the West Indians and the Caribbeans and the Hispanics and things like that? That's all going to depend on how you view that. But this melanin has to stick around because if not, then we're going to create a new being. And it's just going to be another struggle because even with the new being that we actually create with someone else, with another nation, it's still going to be second because it's still going to have melanin. So it doesn't solve the problem. So while we have the minds, while we have the education, while we have the access to so much information, let's utilize that and try to repair our relationships.
Let's repair our relationships, okay? I want to play one more thing to get your take on that I just saw. Before we go.
Basically squandering a tremendous opportunity. We're really basically squandering a tremendous opportunity. And we're allowing basically the profitability of that kind of visuality and that kind of narrative work because the music is so goddamn compelling and the rhymes are just as creative as ever, but they are not distinctively about enough things about Black life for me to be happy with what I would call my 20% of over-the-top vulgarity and good times. Like, I'm down. I'll give you 25%. But if every time I listen to any kind of mainstream corporatized hip-hop, which is a lot of hip-hop, it's genius and horror simultaneously. And we don't have a language for critique of the horror. Why? because we have to let go. If you really do a serious critique, you know good and goddamn well that you can't co-sign at least 80% of it. Now, sometimes it's fascinating and maybe you make good argument, but we're not even doing that. We're finding the moments of old school resistance. And you know I love y'all, but that's what happened here today. Ain't nobody went past, what was the latest year anybody played a song? Oh yeah, wait, but who was it? Okay, but you played, but you all cherry picked, bruh. If we played, you cherry pick. You want me to play her whole record? You want me to play all these whole records? Y'all will be sitting here like, damn, do these fools stop cursing? Is there not a word for that? No, I'm serious. I'm asking us to think, what is the transgressive value of that? If we're making that claim that it's transgressive and it's doing some political work, tell me what it is. And then show me how it happens. I don't want an argument with no evidence. I don't want a statement and acute analysis of like, which is a very hot in black studies right now, like a cute move, but it's not connected to the people in any way. Hip-hop studies cannot become that, not till I actually die. Because that I'll get up off my Rottweiler couch for. I will get my old ass off the couch and have an argument about that, you know? I mean, for real. Because why? Because the point here is not to love hip-hop first. As Chuck D asked that young person, do you love hip-hop? Yeah! The point is to love black people first. Then you ask about hip-hop.
There's something important that she said pertaining to, basically she's talking about critical thinking. And if you add critical thinking to hip-hop, you're held accountable for what you know. And when you know something now, you have to do something about it. So if I critique hip-hop and I use critical thinking with it to try to find a value on the community and in any arena with what is popular and mainstream, that means I would have to do something about it. And I enjoy it. I want to keep it. I want to hold on to it. That's my demon. I'm cool with that demon. I chill with that demon. That demon resonates with me. We would have to change music, and we don't want to do that. We're comfortable with that. It's one thing that we feel like we have control over. We ain't got control over shit in the music industry, but it's something that we feel because that's where I can floss. Because if I get this album, I can have more than this person, and I can make a whole song about something that nobody else can relate to. Because it's the challenge, it's the battle of the egos. So, you know, in order for a change to come, you have to first see the problem. But then the next step will be to do something about it. What are you willing to do to change that? I can't name off the top of my head a female rapper that doesn't do stripper music. You know, she's talking about her ass, she's talking about her vagina, she's talking about the trips that she took and how he paid for it. And that's a representation of black women. And then you can't hear a man. I mean, we may have J. Cole, a little Kendrick Lamar here or there, but we don't have men calling each other brothers. We don't have the men that are uplifting other men and talking about positive things and coming together and doing things. Everybody has their own individual cell. It's like, you know, everybody's ostracized from everybody. Nobody wants to come together. And if they do, now we're beefing. We literally have Clifford and Curtis just had a whole beef with each other. You're not 50 Cent and T.I. You're Clifford and Curtis. Like, but that draws sales because that's what our appetite wants. So they just fed us what we wanted. It used to be a time when you had to come with good music. The greatest rap battles that ever happened with intellect. It was real intellect, real energy that was exchanged. Now it's threats, and people are dying over songs that half the time are not even in reality these people's lives. So again, our appetite has to change because we're willing to fight over fantasy. We're willing to kill over things that just ain't true. It never happened. Rick Ross, you were not this big drug dealer. You were a correctional officer, a parole officer, probation officer. Like, but you have all these things and you promote this lifestyle that is not conducive to our community. So again, we have to understand that when we acknowledge things, the next step is to do something about it. Faith without work is dead. And until we're ready to put the nigger down, a nigga's gonna nig.
Oh man, I wanted to like it. I wanted to like what she was saying. I did. I tried my hardest. But these are the things that get circulated around, and when it gets circulated around by people we trust or people we have an affinity for, or respect their perspective on the thing, it's like, I such and such is circulating it around. It's worthy of looking at.
But I agree with her when she said love black people first. Because if you love black people first, then you will find the default in hip hop. But
Yeah.
this is not hip hop, this is rap.
When somebody black says this, we like, man, get this N word out of here. This whole BAN word. You understand what I'm saying?
She's not black?
She's multiracial.
Okay.
She's multiracial. She got a black father and a white mother. But we can play these games in regards to what this is. She was like, I ain't gonna use this language, and by the end of it, she's cussing and all that. Because when you start to want to try to pander to us, you can start playing these games. These are games. So I can't not separate what she's saying from who she is. You understand? Because that's important. That's important. So somebody who, if Phyllis Heyman said the same thing, they were like, ain't she a comedian? What's she talking about? And what she know about this and what she know about that? And she been black her whole life. That was the same lady that was on Donahue when Dr. Collard was talking about our atrocities happening on film. The same black woman.
Well, Maxine Waters said it years ago and she was shut down.
Right. See, Dolores Sucker said the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? So how does she get this little pass to play this game and be talking to black people about something that you're not talking to the industry about? She said mainstream corporatized hip hop. We're not controlling none of that. Everybody worked there. Everybody works there. Everybody works there. They all get a check, and the artists get paid every quarter. So you can say, oh, okay, love black people first. Tell them how. Show them how. Give them some evidence in regards to that. And then say, okay, through this music, all of the music that was positive, that was righteous towards black people, what happened to it?
They shut it down. So
what are we discussing? Are we discussing the leaf, or are we discussing the root?
Yeah, I could see. Again, it goes back to our appetite. If we change our appetite, because the problem is, this is a way for black people to make money. And I'm going to say predominantly black men to make money is through hip hop. And you're saying that if I change it, then we got to take it away because that's what they want. Now, that's what they want. But if we change what we want, supply and demand, we'll have Nas back again. We'll have Eric B. and Rakim again. But we can't have that until we desire that, and we don't desire that.
We sure
we
do.
Don't understand our power.
We sure do desire it. We desire it, but they tell you what to desire and what not to desire, and you go with whatever becomes popular. The same music that's popular and popping is not filling up the stadiums and the arenas. They're not going out to see that stuff. They're going out to see the older the music, the older the hip hop, the better the crowd turnout. So these people are still touring, right? So they're like, oh, y'all old and blah, blah, blah. They're going to those shows. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to them shows because it's a performance thing. It's a performance thing. Like the music is different. And I'm not segueing from the black community. I'm heavily interested and involved in the black community, and two other things that have us running rampant in regards to how we see each other and one another is what we listen to and what we watch. The entertainment industry has a monopoly on the mind in regards to the guys are misrepresenting black men, black women, and black children wholesale. And these are all of the places and spaces when we look at each other, whether personally, interpersonally, intimately, and whatever it is, it's whatever guys that's put in your head in regards to how you see yourself. So the Huxtable situation, the Cosby Show was supposed to have been unrelatable, right? And we related to Good Times versus the Cosby Show. So you would rather live on a Section 8 voucher in Cabrini Green in Chicago and say that's relatable, and instead of having a doctor and a lawyer for parents who work things out without physically harming you. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like they got the same writer's room, and the same writers. Now it just depends on how you want to see this thing, because the entertainment industry plays a very key factor in the latchkey kid generation that we come from, and that created children. And now we're parenting children with no blueprint, no black print, just based off of what we might have saw on TV. And there was never a discussion about Full House being not relatable. You understand what I'm saying? But Family Matters wasn't relatable. You understand? So when we start looking at these things in regards to what it is, most of those entertainers, they wasn't in the neighborhood. They were in private schools. They were in Ivy League schools. Their children go to Ivy League schools. They live in affluent neighborhoods while selling poison to us like crack. You understand? So it's like, all right, their children is set for life based off of the things that they push, market, and promote to our community. So love black people first has to be a thing. But if you ain't never been loved before, how you know what to love? If you think toxicity is love, if you think trauma and bonding and all of these other aspects that we deal with is love, if you think abuse is love, if you think addiction is love, that's what you're going to perpetuate. So all of these aspects, for every great hip hop record in the world, there's a space to where you could go into the rest of that stuff and find all of this foolishness. And you say, oh, this is hip hop culture. You understand what I'm saying? So you find yourself at a deficit in regards to finding something righteous for your children to listen to. That's hip hop, but this is supposed to be something that you love. They can't listen to what it was. They showed Cardi on the video. We saw the video with her turning off her music. She didn't want her daughter listening to what she got these other daughters listening to. So that's by design. That's her job. She becomes this person to get paid, and get paid off of whom? You understand? So you don't have no problem with the world replicating something that's in your lyrics, but it ain't good enough for your children. So they know where the poison goes. They know where the poison goes and who is targeted at. So just something about the whole thing that's there to where our people deserve to be seen and heard. They deserve to be in a position for them to be who they are and not for who they appear to be, and not to be downplayed and cast to the side and all of this other thing. So they think that who they are is not enough. They have to try to pretend to become something else. Like you said, Clifford and Curtis, whoever they were and whoever they are is not the people that's on the records. Not the people that's on the records. But somebody has more influence and power. It doesn't matter how much money they got or whatever their social standing in the world is, that they bend their knee to, and they put out this BS when it comes out. And our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren are highly influenced to this, and it pulls on their ear because they have a creative spirit and creative mind. So along with some of these other things that need to be eradicated, there's a bunch of that needs to be eradicated. When Malcolm Jamal Warner said the N-word and the B-word should be a moratorium in hip-hop, they call him every N-word in the world. He passed shortly after that. And then they was like, oh, our brother, rest in peace, Theo, blah, da, 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 da. Oh, he was a good dude. He was a good brother. You called him a N-word, a BA N-word, because he said, you're too creative to be utilizing these two words like we used them enough. What else can we come up with? Same thing the lady said. And they clapping and giggling with this same lady. The same guy said the same thing And it was like, man, get up out of here. Or maybe you got one of them pudding pops from Bill Cosby and blah, blah. All of the visceral in regards to something that could never describe you. But we got the YN movement. Our black children, though, in the womb of their mothers, are not even allowed to be human. From 0 to this age, they YN. 0? You ain't even through the gestation period in the womb. You already somebody's young Nazi. Because that's where it comes from. But we don't approach the propaganda like that. Just make it seem like it's funny and all that. Then again, they'll show you somebody and they'll roll with that. What do you want for your future? These children ain't gonna be children forever. You want them looking at your grandchildren and calling them, young Nazis. Because you can't call certain people racial epithets. You can't call them that, but they don't got no problem calling you that. How these folks in Asia know how to receive you? You coming over there. They chanting the N-word before you get off the bus, and you just went over there to play some basketball. How they know in Thailand? How they know in Vietnam? How they know in Korea? How they know in Japan? You understand what I'm saying? How they know in China and all these other places? How do they know how to receive you in this way? Because they listening to that drug that folks be calling hip-hop. So you over on the mother continent, this place that's supposed to have been uninterrupted civilization, and they know to call you the N-word. How does that work? And they calling themselves the N-word. And they blood and cripping over there. Come on. It's like it's madness all the way around. Madness all the way around. So as well-intentioned as this, situation and statement comes with, you benefit off of it all the way around. Because you know how to code switch and go over there amongst the white counterparts. You ain't bringing none of this extraness that you got over there, and then you can come back over here and play over here too. You say the N-word a couple of times, or you have some couple of cuss words, and then all of a sudden, oh, you hip, she down, she understands our plight. Yeah, okay. Okay. So it's a game until it's not a game. So loving Black people has to be something very thought out, very strategic, and it has to address from the traumatic to the triumphant. Otherwise, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, give yourself a bomb.
I'm gonna get one for you and everybody else. I ain't say too much tonight because you said everything, but I wanted to touch on something that's very critical in our community, and my work on and offline, and who and what I deal with. So, if we're gonna be discussing, the Black community, there's another side to this. I wrote my thesis on where there are after school, before school, and even school programs that are utilizing hip hop from a therapeutic perspective. So there are aspects that folks are utilizing these things to talk about depression, to talk about self-esteem, to talk about self-worth, self-value. So there is a value in the value system. But what are we accepting for value in that regard? Because I got a bunch of artists that I know and that I promote and that I play here who have righteous music. And I got some of them that's righteous-ish. You understand what I'm saying? They're righteous-ish. Because they think that they got to kind of exist in between both worlds. And I'm like, for what? Be you. If that ain't you, don't be trying to pretend. Either way it goes. If you ain't righteous, don't be righteous. Go over there with the unrighteous. I ain't gonna be upset with you. You doing who you are. But if you over here, understand what the tenets are and what's at stake over here. So it matters.
One box 101 said we have a serious psychological fight to tend to in our community. I agree with that wholeheartedly. We do. Again, I'm breaking my back in my area trying to remove that stigma of getting mental health services, particularly to our community specifically. And it's a challenge. Um, we got a mustard seed of headway. We got a long way to go, but there's so many spaces where it's needed and where you can get that and the comfort amongst your own people without feeling like anyone's going to come in and take over your life or your liberties or your freedom. Those are minimum as they are, but our mental health is so important, and we're passing this down. We're just giving it environmentally to our children and in our community, and we'd rather lose our life than fix it. Everything for me, when a problem comes, fix it. Just fix it. Figure it out. Fix it. And it's like, the alternative is death. And how many more of us, need to be excused for our behavior, our character, when there's therapies, there's modalities that can actually change that into something positive. But that negative need that we have, that hunger that we have for that negativity towards each other, for each other, to embarrass each other, to demean each other, to see two people going at it and pull out your phone and not call the ambulance. Literally, if it means hanging up to call the ambulance, you will watch another person be harmed physically when you can make a call, but you don't want to lose that feed. This might go viral at the expense of someone else. I see a lot of addiction videos where we have people in our community that are on drugs and they're doing strange things for some change. And just for that moment to embarrass them, I don't think we understand the true cost of what this devaluing system that we've created does as a whole to our community, because the more that we do this to each other, it further validates what everybody else thinks, because they think it and now we co-sign it. We've now signed off on, yep, this is it, this is us. Because look, I got it on my phone. You have children taking videos of kids in locker rooms and spreading them around, and children are becoming suicidal behind that. You can't come back from that. Like, that camera that they put in these phones has been a huge detriment to us, because we're entertained by all the wrong things. If you talk to someone and they can tell you something they say on social media, the algorithms can be so different just based upon what you continuously watch. You literally could have a whole holistic one, and then you'll have one that's full of bullshit. And it's like, how does that happen when all these things are viral? Where your attention goes, your energy goes. So we have to shift our attention, our stimulation, and our desires to just, because the thing is, we have this mentality of, as long as I'm doing better than you, not understanding that that has a whole effect. Just because you're willing to let everything die, forget about the greater good, just so that you can have one car better than me, one house better than me, just one item, one tangible thing that devalues once you purchase it more than me, will let you put a stain on the entire community. Our lack of education and understanding, not in the school realm, but just in the identity realm, is the core of our detriment. We all need therapy. As a community, we need one big group therapy session.
Right. So we'll be back next week. Okay. We will be back next week. Can we be at this again? All right. Self Me Self Podcast, episode 10.5, part 2. Missionary, thank you for your time. Everybody loves you over here. They all like, oh my goodness, now would you shut up so she can say something else profound? All right, I'm going to be quiet. We're going to be back next week.
Well,
Peace, y'all.
I will close with mind your spirit, mind your words, mind your responsibilities as men and women, And please understand that that's your power.
Peace. Kane. Kane. Yo, wake up, man. What you doing?
Huh?
What you doing?
I'm just playing this VR reality game.
VR reality game. Yeah. Okay. What's it do? What's it there?
It's called hypnosis.
Hey, give it to me. It's called hypnosis, huh?
Yeah.
Hypnosis.
The Mexican Anubis, where my guards at? Easy as Ezekiel, doing willies on the star map in W. Ace of spades and clubs, they get their hearts jacked. Quickly over diamonds, deep reclining like massage naps. Knocking out their senses like Beanie Stevens cigar slaps. That's slick Reiki. Shock Genie Gematria, your digital thunderground. Call me Coolio with Glacier. I'm Cannabis me a law. I'm Dana Dangerous. One line, split every cipher that's Reservadius. Every diddly deacon A strain. Messes in the body, graffiti in a spray can, karaoke karate. Follow each kick when I rap. I'm Ice Shakti, alien explosion. Nagasaki, eminence. Still in the game with no fingerprints. Cool as ice copper, iodine, Dr. Dre was spin. 777 Mafia, angels inside my cranium. Fabulous, the master number. Fibonacci Ali. Ghostface kilometers, measure the rate quantity. Using the jar ruler. Medulla Tifa philosophy. Set it off of it. Lord and Saturn's alternate. Byzantine marquee. Socrates, God degree. Meditate, common breathe. Right before the twister saw a big dolphin swimming through the juvenile river. Like moon eclipses, calypsis. Luminary, star door, ludicrous, and opium. How about some hardcore? Killer can rendezvous, diplomatic immunity. They lost substance hypnosis magic community. 3 plugs couldn't fix the boat sinking in high water. Luke King, Jedi Knight, Titanic, and Skywalker. Man's anatomy symmetrical, that's 2x2. Suppose Noah's Ark, Medes had a 2-lot crew. This that Ron DMT, and my cypress hallucination. Sirius B, rail, psychic communication. Snoop Doggy Doggone. Big Daddy K9, MC Hammer rap by Gemini, third baseline. I'm Chuck Demon Slayer, he behavior Flavor Flame, right power, public energy, rearrange the game. I'm Wu-tangled in the worldwide webinar. Zodiac, I came in through the semen in the seminar. Meditate, close your eyes and repeat. I'm a god in human flesh, I'm a giant asleep. I'm a step above, wings on the side of my feet. With restless now awake when the cycle's complete. Meditate, close your eyes and repeat. I'm a god in human flesh, I'm a giant asleep. Supreme opus whenever you feel hopeless. I acknowledge terms hip-hop, the hypnosis. Aquarius gangstars like bodies with healthy skeletons. Rock this transfer. Sean P to you, Melly Melanin. El Elohim School J, Mosaic definite. I'm above the black starters, overqualified. KRS, wonderful mind, that's special etiquette. On black moons, I blast buckshot. With special ed, I get lunatics, minute moon vampires that never bit. The nectar, poetry sap, killer prestigious. Leaders of the new school. Bust the rhymes optimist, this that Malcolm X clan. Scholar rocket shit, sun rock chemist, the mystery school Hercules. Naughty by Netheroots, Mr. Wizard fraternity. Black Thought, Malik Beater, that cool Jesus rap. Marley Merlin magician, that new regal rap. Estrada Jr., Africa Shambhala dig. I know Taurus is big. I'm Jazz Omen, young Jay-Z Zodiac. Wizard of Kazoda, Amazon jungle brother. That's Carnassier. That's a connoisseur, higher than the stars appear. Vesca Lil season of the Grand Vizier. I'm Kid Capricorn, MC Chandelier digger with planet watching candelabra on the ink and map. Grandmaster flash drive, various 5-finger slap. Diggity dots, cause and effects. I'm Kumo Easy Act. It's Trump Ragnarok. DJ Premonition. God hop and tie rock, keys in the ignition. And when I pass, bury me inside the beatbox Zodiac. I should go as for 2 epochs. Yo, respect Joseph. Very merry. Christ upon the crisscross. Rose before they bury you. I mean, 40 nights and days, I stole half a millennium.
Egyptian mummies, skull and bone, thuggery, chair, Simpsy magistrate, Joey bad assassinate, the lords of the thunderground, walking through the astrogate. I'm the alchemistic, my thoughts fix a lot. I'm Eric Sermon parishioner, sermon mix a lot. Hey, slave for you, Mobile South Castle. It's Andre 3000 years born in a sound capsule. 50 centuries, predicted but ain't happy yet. Yoga funk flexible, oh, dirty Baphomet, Method Man, dollar billionaire Lazarus. Big element, daddy trick, Sarge. And the masterpiece theater, Nicki Minaj. Expect a decadent, tarot Cardi B sting. MC like to see things, Adam EVE change. That's a sonic boomerang, balance me with each wing. K solar eclipse, a red mantra. Galagichi sway, hand bloated philosopher. Illuminated out scratch records from the Alhambra. Indigenous America, Kanye West. I'ma grab Al Locks, who serve these entrees best. Horace Falcon Birdman, Lil Wayne and Crescent Moon. Feather sidereal flowers and geometric blooms. It's hypnosis come emerging the glow. It's a new world orbit, not the world that you know. Zodiac, as above, so curves below. Meditate, close your eyes and repeat. I'm a god in human flesh, I'm a giant sleep. I'm a step above, wings on the side of my feet. With restless now wake once the cycle's complete. Meditate, close your eyes and repeat. I'm a god in human flesh, I'm a giant sleep. Supreme opus whenever you feel hopeless. I acknowledge turn hip-hop into hypnosis.
Trying, man. I hit him side.
It's crazy, right? That's crazy. Phew. That was crazy.
Hey.
Eh?
Take this thing.
So no one gets hypnotized again.
Take that.